Hola. Buenos días. Mi nombre es Tina Botts. Good morning. My name is Tina Botts, and my pronouns are her, hers. And I serve gratefully as part of your worship arts team, and also as a vocalist with Stolen Thunder. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Welcome to everyone on our virtual campus. Welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Ave church campus. Welcome to everyone watching the service later on Facebook or YouTube. We are one congregation in many places. Our monthly worship theme for December is wonder. Today we explore the wonder of the Christmas season by looking at how much of what we know as Christmas has deep and beautiful roots in pre-Christian pagan traditions. We acknowledge that our Alluvial Ave church campus sits within the traditional homelands of the Yokuts people. We honor them as past, present, and future stewards of this land. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are quite different from most churches in Fresno. We believe that an inclusive welcome is spiritual practice. We welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. We welcome you no matter your disabilities, the amount of money in your bank account, your level of education, or your neurodiversity. We welcome you if you are lesbian, gay, bi, trans, non-binary, or gender fluid. You are welcome with or without documentation. All are welcome here. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. This morning we have two ways for those who are on our virtual campus to share a personal joy, sorrow, gratitude, or concern. In addition to typing them into the chat box in Facebook or YouTube, you can now text them to us at 559-209-4977. That's 559-209-4977. But it's important to do it right now so we have time to gather them and get them to Tim to share later in the service. Be sure to text your name as well so that we know who you are. 559-209-4977. Now, may we, in the chat box, in person, or in the silence of your heart, take a moment to say buenos dias and greet one another.
Mateo. My name is Tim, and I serve gratefully as minister of this fine institution, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Before we begin, you may notice behind me is a rather large screen. Our side projectors reached the lifespan of shining light into the world, and they have decided it's time to take a nice long rest. So, now we've had them for about 7 years, so we've brought back our center projector, which is probably 17, 18, 19 years old. So if it's a little faint, please forgive us. This also means on our virtual campus, we have to ask for your understanding that we're not going to be able to drop all the slides and videos into the live stream as we normally do. They're going to be seen back behind me by the camera. So it's just going to be a little low tech today. The good news is we will be installing new state-of-the-art projectors this Tuesday night in time for Christmas Eve and our Christmas morning service. And so, as we begin to explore the pagan roots of Christmas, I invite you to allow the sound of the tingsha to carry you to that ancient and wise place that is within us all.
Called her uncle, said, "We're up here for the holiday. Jane and I are having solstice. Now we need a place to stay." And her Christ-loving uncle watched his wife hang Mary on the tree. He watched his son hang candy canes, all made with red dye number 3. He told his niece, "It's Christmas Eve. I know our life is not your style." She said, "Christmas is like solstice, and we'll miss you, and it's been a while." So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able. Just before the meal was served, hands were held and prayers were said, sending hope for peace on earth to all their gods and goddesses. The food was great, the tree plugged in, the meal had gone without a hitch, till Timmy turned to Amber and said, "Is it true that you're a witch?" His mom jumped up and said, "The pies are burning," and she hit the kitchen. It was Jane who spoke and said, "It's true, your cousin's not a Christian. But we love trees, we love the snow, the friends we have, the world we share. And you find magic from your God, and we find magic everywhere." So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground, best that they were able. And where does magic come from? I think magic's in the learning. 'Cause now when Christians sit with pagans, only pumpkin pies are burning. When Amber tried to do the dishes, her aunt said, "Really, no, don't bother." Amber's uncle saw how Amber looked like Tim, like her father. He thought about his brother, how they hadn't spoken in a year. He thought he'd call him up and say, "It's Christmas and your daughter's here." He thought of fathers, sons, and brothers, saw his own son tug his sleeve, saying, "Can I be a pagan?" Dad said, "We'll discuss it when they leave." So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground, the best that they were able, lighting trees and learning new ways from the old, making sense of history
Hola, buenos dias. Mi nombre es Jamie. Hi, my name is Jamie. Good morning. And this is Lisa, and our pronouns are she, her.
If you have a candle or chalice with you at home, now is the time to bring it close as we will be lighting it soon. But first, we share these words adapted from Christy Thorat.
The winter solstice, the shortest day and longest night of the year, falls on December 21st. It has long been a night centered around which many pagan celebrations are centered. The word solstice comes from two Latin words which mean day of the sun.
At this time of year, as the days grew shorter and shorter, the ancient people were afraid that the days might just keep getting shorter and shorter, the nights longer and longer, until the night never ended. They had celebrations of light to try to encourage the sun to come back.
Later, when they knew a little more, enough to know that the sun would come back after this certain day, they celebrated it with many festivities. But all of these celebrations had something to do with fire and the coming back of light to the world.
In Britain, bonfires were lit. These fires were kept burning for several days and nights. The people would gather around these fires to dance, sing, and feast.
In the spirit of these ancient ones who gathered in the mystery of the hour, as the nighttime lengthened, I invite you to light your chalice or candle at home, as Reverend Tim lights our Alluvial Avenue chalice.
And now let us stand in body or spirit and join in our chant, Gathered Here.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near.
I invite us to remain standing as we say together the words of our mission statement. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated. Today is one of my favorite days because it is New Member Sunday, and we'll be welcoming 12 new members to this congregation. People who have found here a home for their spirit. We're going to hear from one of these amazing new folks who's now going to not be a new folk because he's going to be a member. James, would you come on up with the reading about why people might want to join a church that's Unitarian?
Good morning. So my reading today, my name is James Trellis. I'm he, him with pronouns. Why you want to join a Unitarian Universalist church? You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it stands against superstition and fear, because it points to what is noblest and best in human life, because it is open to people, whatever race, creed, color, sexual orientation, gender identity, or national origin. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it has a free pulpit, because because you can hear ideas expressed here, which would cost any other minister their job. You want to support it because it's a place where children can come without being saddled with guilt or terrified of eternal damnation, where they can learn that religion is for joy, for comfort, for gratitude, and for love. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it's a place where walls between people are torn down rather than built up. Because it's a place for free thinkers and those who insist we must work out our own beliefs. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it's more concerned with human beings than dogma, because it's searching for the holy rather than dwelling on the depraved, because it calls no one a sinner, yet knows how deep the struggle and how great is the hunger for what is good. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because you realize there's something greater than your own individual wants and needs, and you want to be of service to it. Because you yearn to join with others to work for justice, because you wish to experience community and connection. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it insults neither your intelligence or your conscience, and because it calls us to lift up what is truly worthy of love.
I invite Patty to join us and Adeline as well.
Sorry about that. Masks and glasses and complications. Okay.
Patty, you want to pull the mic closer?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Pull it
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Mi nombre es Patty Bennett. Good morning on this wonderful New Member Sunday. I'm Patty Bennett, and as this congregation's coordinator of community life, it is my great privilege to introduce to you some wonderful people who are choosing today to become members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Adelina Marchini y sirvo con gratitud como presidente de su Junta de Síndicos. Good morning, my name is Adeline Marchini and I serve gratefully as president of your Board of Trustees.
If you are present on our Alluvial Avenue campus, we hope you will stand when you hear your name. If you are part of our virtual campus, we welcome you to stand in spirit or in body. Mark Biancalana. Darcy and Matt Brown, and Logan and Aaron. Diana Ingram. Diana, Nancy wants to find you there with your rose. Thank you. Stephen Lightly and Joseph Penn. Jessica Mitchell and Liam Mitchell. Colby Morrow. Mona Jones Romancic, John Romancic, and Mula. Elizabeth Kincaid Relas, and James Relas, and Amelia Skye, also known as Millie.
As the one who serves gratefully as minister of this congregation, it is a true joy to welcome each of you into our community of memory and hope. To each new member, I ask, Will you walk together with us, sharing the joys and responsibilities of membership? Will you bring your hopes and enthusiasms, your questions and fears in community with us? Will you help us fulfill our mission to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice? If so, in a nice loud voice, will you please say with me, we will. We will. Woo. Members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, will you welcome these dear ones into our congregation? Will you be open to their unique gifts and perspectives and the change they will bring? If so, please speak these words of welcome with me as they appear on the screen. Welcome into this community of spirit, love, and justice. We join our strengths, talents, and commitment with yours. You are a part of us, and we are a part of you.
Becoming a member of this church is an important step, but it's only a first step. On behalf of the congregation, I charge you, new members, as well as our longer-term members, to grow in your Unitarian Universalist faith. I also charge you, as well as our longer-term members, to find and share your special gifts with us. Ours is a shared ministry. Each of us has a crucial role to play. We need you. We need your energy. We need your ideas. We need the gifts of your time and financial support. Give generously of yourselves, and your rewards will be great.
Each of you brings light, vitality, and renewal. Each of your lights has a common source. Together, we form a beacon of hope for each other and our wounded and beautiful world. May your light shine brightly among us for many years to come. In that spirit, from both our Alluvial Ave campus and our virtual campus, I invite our new members to rise once again, and let us welcome them with a nice warm round of applause. So our new members, please rise again.
Our next new member Sunday will be February 5th, but you can always join anytime privately. Just speak or send an email to Patty Bennett, our coordinator of community life. Come join us on this shared spiritual adventure. Now let's stand with our newest members and sing an old favorite Unitarian Universalist hymn, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the
Please be seated. I invite us to together take in a nice centering breath. As we do so, breathing in peace, we hold a moment, we breathe out love. Again, a nice deep breath in, breathing in peace. We hold a moment, we breathe out love. And one final time together, we breathe in peace. We hold a moment, we breathe out love. As we continue breathing together, each at our own pace, each at our own depth, a question to consider. In the last week, how connected were you to your sense of wonder? In this season of wonder and mystery and magic, we create space to lift up what's in our hearts, what's in our minds. Each of us walked in here with a unique mix of gratitude, joys, sorrows, and concerns. Some of us stopped at the small table at the entranceway to the church. Others of us typed them into our chat box or sent us a text. This is a little bit of what is alive amongst us today. Hanukkah begins tonight, and so we mark this festival of lights. And in these lights, Jackie is wishing happy birthday to David and is pleased to announce that cake will be served at coffee hour today to celebrate David's birthday. Betty F. is saying today, and I've been told I cannot give any remote hint of the outcome of the World Cup, which makes quoting Betty very difficult, so forgive me for just a little bit of an editing on the fly here. Today, she is grateful for one specific team. She says, soccer isn't everything, but today it is everything to one fabulous player and a specific country. Bless them. My life was threatened if I gave any hint to who might be winning or won. On a more somber note, Jamie is sending much love and comfort to her mom, Ida, on our virtual campus, whose beloved cat, Frankie, passed into the mysteries of death last night. And any of us who have loved and lost an animal companion know how deep is that loss and how society doesn't create a context to help us mourn. So Ida, you are with us in love and light. And Nancy H. is sending caring thoughts and asking for ours as well for a family member diagnosed this week with kidney cancer. Today we also mark the sad 10th anniversary of Sandy Hook. 10 years, and it just keeps going. Ban assault weapons, more funding for mental health. Our hearts also lift up the ongoing arrest, shooting, and execution of the young people in Iran, especially the brave women. And we also grieve the barbaric wintertime bombing of Ukraine, targeting the electric grid and water, forcing Ukrainians to suffer sub-zero temperatures without heat, electricity, or water. Truly a war crime. We lift up as well our beloved unable to be with us this morning. We think of Margaret H., Bev F., Edith H., William H., Glenda R., and Pat I want to lift up specifically one of those names, Bev Fitzpatrick. During the summer, she was diagnosed with West Nile virus. It so compromised her health, taking away mobility, taking away the ability to breathe on her own, taking away her ability to speak. Because of the extraordinary medical team that has been caring for her, and Bev, because of your sheer strength and awesomeness, you are making big steps towards your recovery. And Bev, we've lifted up your name each and every Sunday since you took ill. And Bev, we've arranged to hear from you because Bev just wants to say hi. So Nico, I'm going to be holding this up. So first, call Bev. Hey, Bev, there's some folks who want to say hello. Let's all very loudly yell, "We love you, Bev! We love you, Bev!" And Bev,
Hello, everyone.
Bev, is there anything you want to say to your beloved congregation?
I just want to tell them thank you for remembering me. I just want to say that, thank you for all the memories and for the encouraging words. They help me heal every day. So, everybody, happy holidays, and thank you, Reverend Tim.
Bev, we love you, and we're going to shout that one more time at the phone. Let's say, "We love you, Bev. We love you, Bev." Woo! Bye, Bev.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so phenomenal. And so for all that has been shared this morning, for Bev, and for all those who on this day have no one to remember them with gentleness or love, we light our candle of community. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. We light a second candle for the 6.62 million citizens of this world who have lost their lives in this pandemic, 1.2 million of whom once resided in the United States of America. In the light of these candles, we sing our call to meditation. There is a love holding you.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. Hay un amor sosteniendo todo que amo. Hay un amor sosteniendo todo, yo descanso en este amor. There is a love holding you. There is a love holding all that you love. There is a love holding all. You rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest
in this season of beautiful darkness, in this season of renewing light, may we know, may you know, there is a love holding you. There is a love holding us. Lorenzo on keyboard, Mark on bass, and Nicholas, would you stand up? Nicholas on drums. I think of beautiful blackness. I think of beautiful darkness, and it makes me want to chant. So I'm going to invite us to rise and body your spirit. Our chant, Dark of the Moon.
Dark night, starry night, new beginnings. Dark night, starry night, will come to be. Dark night, starry night, new beginnings. Dark night, starry night, will come to be. Dark night, starry night, new beginnings. Dark night, starry night, will come to be. Dark night, starry night, new beginnings. Dark night, starry night, will come to be.
Let's take a deep breath in together. And as we release that breath, we sink back into our seats. Every couple years, I like to revisit and offer this sermon. And today's offering of it comes at the request of several pagan members of the congregation who practice earth-based traditions. And what they wanted, especially on New Member Sunday, was to allow our newest members to hear where this holiday called Christmas comes from. And in doing so, we honor the pagan tradition and those among us who celebrate their spirituality through an earth-based practice. And remember in that reading that James did a little bit earlier, that here you can hear ideas expressed that would cost any other minister their job? Think Fresno. Think megachurch. I'm going to just put this down. Without the nurturing depths of darkness, we would never see the beauty of light. I feel most connected to the awesome wonder of life when I'm outside looking up at the winter night sky. There's something sacred about the simplicity of the winter sky at night. There is endless sky and stars so alive in the crisp, cold air, illuminating the leafless skeletons of shadowy trees beneath the soft, cool light of that winter moon. Solstice is a time for savoring the starkness of the early winter sky, even as that simplicity is juxtaposed against the colorful cacophony of our neighborhood's blazing Christmas lights. This time of year, I love how vast the beautiful darkness of the sky is, and I love how it spreads itself over and above and seems to just absorb our tiny electric-lighted futile attempts to drive away the night. Humans have been dancing in the tension between night and light for as long as the human heart has been beating. As poet Susan Cooper writes, "So, the shortest day came, and the year died. And everywhere down the centuries came people singing, dancing to drive the night away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreens. They burned beseeching fires all night long. Through all the frosty ages, you can hear them. Listen, all the long echoes echoing behind us. All the echoes sing the same delights." Long, long before the words Navidad, Nativity, Christmas, Yeshua, Jesus, and Jesus were first spoken, the ancients gathered in sacred circles and on hilltops to light bonfires to bring light into this darkest time of the year. I was reminded of this yet again this past week, during an evening walk with my dog, Grayson. We intentionally made our way to one of Fresno's overabundantly decorated Christmas houses in our neighborhood. Any of you have those kind of houses? Yeah? Any of us? Are we one of those houses? So, yet again, as it had been for the last 7 Decembers here in Fresno, in addition to the over-the-top megawatt Christmas lights, I looked to see if there was that small red and white yard sign tucked into a darker corner of the yard. It was there. The sign read, "What is the reason for the season?" Followed by the name of a nearby Christian megachurch. The reason for the season? I had to fight my Unitarian Universalist impulse to march up the sidewalk, knock on the door, and say to the homeowner, "What is the reason for the season?" Well, since you asked. The original reason for the season is the winter solstice, the day with the shortest amount of sunlight and the longest amount of night. Solstice is derived from 2 Latin words, sol meaning sun and sistera meaning to stop. It is the day that the ancient pagans believed that they were literally able to stop the sun from departing from the earth. It was the day the sun was born anew into the world. In the northern hemisphere, the winter solstice falls on December 21st or 22nd. In pre-Christian Rome, the pagans celebrated the shortening days and lengthening nights with a hugely popular multi-day celebration called Saturnalia, honoring the Roman god Saturn. From December 17th to the 23rd, the Romans offered sacrifices at the temple, feasted in these huge public banquets, exchanged small gifts, gambled, and upended the Roman class system by having masters serve their slaves. This Roman solstice time celebration was later extended when the emperor declared December 25th to be the birthday of Sol Invictus, the invincible Roman sun god. December 25th was the birthday of the sun, S-U-N. So, how did December 25th go from being the birthday of the sun, S-U-N, to being the birthday of the sun, S-O-N? As big a deal as Christmas is to many of us, the early Christians had little interest in thinking about the birth of Jesus. In fact, the first gospel that we have, the Gospel of Mark, written 40 years after Jesus' death, says nothing about his birth and begins at the start of his adult ministry, Jesus' adult ministry. It took about 20 more years for the first of the nativity stories to be written in the Gospel of Matthew. That was almost 60 years after Jesus' death. The early Christians didn't celebrate Jesus' birthday, and it was only some 300 years after Jesus' death that the Roman Catholic Church declared December 25th to be the birthday of the Son, S-O-N, of God. Their reasoning? The pagan celebrations of Saturnalia and Sol Invictus were so popular, the Catholic Church wanted to offer a Christian alternative to make it easier for the pagan Romans to convert to Christianity. Even if they gave up their pagan gods, they wouldn't have to give up their pagan partying. They could keep their celebration. They only had to call it Christmas. And instead of honoring Saturn and the birth of the sun, S-U-N, they had to honor Jesus, the Son, S-O-N, of God. At that time, throughout the ancient world, there were many different midwinter solstice celebrations. The festivals of light celebrated a great hero god who was often the god of the earth's vegetation. In autumn, that hero god sickened and died, or was killed. As the leaves fell from the trees, the god went to dwell in the underworld of shadows. Something had to be done to revive the god, to give rebirth to the plants and trees. A superhero was needed to bring light back to the world, sort of the ancient world's version of the Black Panther. One of the greatest of the ancient world's superheroes was the Persian god Mithra. The legend tells that Mithra was found one night, a baby, cold and crying in a cave. Shepherds watching the fields in the nearby discovered him and cared for him. Shepherds. Does that sound familiar? The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields where they lay. In Persia, which is modern-day Iran, just after midnight, as December 25th began, priests, or magi, led the faithful to a shrine at the mouth of the cave. There, a bull was killed and burned as sacrifice. Each worshiper held aloft a torch. They sang praises to the newborn god Mithra, calling him the strong, the mighty, the God of light and power. They cried, "Rejoice, a child of heaven has been born, for unto us a child is given." Middle Eastern magi, wise ones, paying homage at the birth of a holy child. Does that sound familiar? We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse so far, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder sky. But the winter pagan solstice didn't only illuminate the masculine power of gods. The divine feminine was an essential part of many pagan solstice stories and celebrations. Throughout the longest night of the year, it was the Earth Mother who painfully labored to give birth to the sun baby and so renew the light of the earth. Ancient pagan traditions taught that no child of light could be born without the powers of the feminine, without the wisdom and womb of the divine mother. In Africa and other parts of the ancient world, Isis and her son Horus were among the most widely worshipped divine mother and son. Their story, as retold in both Shack and Palace, was a story of sex, scandal, intrigue, and murder. It was the ancient world's equivalent of a binge-watch-worthy Netflix series. Their story begins with Isis and her husband Osiris. Osiris was this rugged and buff god king. During a coup to steal the throne, yeah, they had steal the throne coups back then as well as we do here. During a coup to steal the throne, Osiris was brutally murdered by his evil brother Set. Fearing for her own life and the life of her unborn child, Isis fled and took refuge in the papyrus swamps of the Delta in northern Egypt. It was there, after enduring a long and difficult labor, that Isis gave birth to her son Horus on the night of the winter solstice. Horus was the Egyptian savior god, the god of life, who grew to manhood and defeated the powers of evil, thus restoring righteousness on earth. Peace on earth was brought by the one born through the birth canal of the divine mother. In Egypt, on the shortest day of the year, the high priest would disappear into a dark cave, When he returned, he bore a torch in one hand and a newborn infant in the other. He held that child up high, crying, "Behold, the infant sent to us to bring light upon the world." Sound familiar? Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from high holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. These were all stories in circulation during the time the Gospels of Matthew and Luke were written. During the time these early Christian communities decided to tell for the first time the story of how Jesus was born. The birth of the Roman sun, S-U-N, the shepherds and the magi of Mithra, the solstice labor of Isis, the saving power of Horus were all part of the religious zeitgeist of the ancient world. These are the sources of the story we now tell about Jesus at Christmas time. Now, let me be clear. Knowing these origins, in no way diminishes the beauty of the Christian nativity story. I believe it enhances our understanding of its universal and timeless origins. There's something so beautiful in knowing that the African image of Isis and Horus, the mother and son, can transform into the Middle Eastern image of Miriam and Yeshua, Mary and Joseph, Jesus and Maria. I'm less delighted that 1,300 years later, the brown-skinned Miriam and Yeshua were transformed into a Western European Mary and Jesus with white skin and blonde hair. But that is another eighth principle-themed sermon. But no matter the color of their skin, the divine feminine was an essential part of the pagans' solstice celebration. The Scandinavian and Germanic tribes of Europe called that the night of the winter solstice Mother's Night. That night was sacred to the triple goddess, the maiden who created life, the mother who sustained it, and the crone who took it away and carried us into the mysteries of death. The night winter sky was connected to this female-focused depiction of the cycle of life. The maiden was represented by the new moon, the mother by the full moon, and the crone by the waning moon. From this came the universal symbol for the triple goddess. Stories of the maiden and mother and crone crossed cultures and religions. The triple goddess was well known when Christianity borrowed her, masculinized it, and transformed her into the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But its pagan ritual origins have not been lost. The Christian faith's belief in the birth, life, death, and resurrection of Jesus emerged out of the pagan world's belief in nature's yearly seasonal cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth. And again, let me be perfectly clear. Knowing this origin and transformation in no way takes the beauty away from the Christian story. It makes it universal and timeless and so much more meaningful, at least in my estimation. The natural cycle of life is one of the richest teachings the winter solstice offers us. Without the nurturing depth of darkness, we could never see the coming of the light. Without the mystery of death, we could never appreciate the gift that is life. The winter solstice reminds us, as Reverend James Yepka writes, The flow of life moves ever onward through one chilling winter into another faithful spring. The winter solstice invites us to awaken to a power so abundant, so holy, that returns each year through earth and sky. As the sixth source of Unitarian Universalism reminds us, this season of waning light calls us to celebrate the sacred circle of life and to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. For nature remembers what we humans have forgotten. Every cycle must return to the stillness, the silence, the darkness. Every outer endeavor turns back inward to its origin, its center, and begins again. From death comes new life, and from the beauty of the darkest night, the new dawn is born anew. Happy solstice. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad.
Light a candle, sing a song, say that the shadows shall not cross, make an oblation out of all you've lost in the longest night. Gather friends and cast your hopes into the fire as it snows, and stare at God through the dark windows of the longest night of the year. Seems like a lifetime if you're waiting for the sun. So why not sing to the nighttime and the burning stars up above? With drums, bells and horns, oh, come in silence, come forlorn, come like a miner to the door of the longest night. For deep in the stillness, deep in the cold, Deep in the shadows, a miner knows that there is a diamond in the soul of the longest night of the year. A night that seems like a lifetime if you're waiting for the sun. So why not sing to the nighttime and the burning stars up above? Maybe peace hides in a storm. Maybe winter's heart is warm. And maybe light itself is born in the longest night. In the longest night.
Once again, let's thank Tina. Once a month, we hold a special offering for a social justice group. Is this one working? Yep. Oh, it's coming through great. We hold a special offering for a social justice group, organization, or individual that is in alignment with our beloved Unitarian Universalist religious values. This Sunday, we are pleased to welcome a great friend of Fresno's social justice community, and also I'm happy to say a great friend of this congregation, Mike Rhodes from Community Alliance, to briefly tell us about that.
Thank you, Tim. And I'm so honored to be here because I do feel an alignment of purpose between what the Unitarian Church does and what the Community Alliance hopes to accomplish. I would invite you to pick up a copy of the paper. We have them located around the church. Bev Fitzpatrick is on our board of directors, and I've been in touch with Bev, and I'm so glad to see her coming back from where she was. I didn't know she'd survive, and now she's like talking before us, and it's such a joy to be hearing her voice again. So the reason that I'm here is because this paper tells the story of what is happening in the progressive community of Fresno, the foothills, and the valley. And it's really important that we can tell our story, because if we don't tell it, there are others who will. And the media, the other papers in this area, one is owned by a hedge fund and the other by a builder and developer. we are here for the people. We're here to talk about how we are all living on Yakut's land. Tell the story about changing the name from Squaw Valley to Yakut's Valley. We had a fundraiser about 2 weeks ago when we had Raymond Raintree, who is he's indigenous, he's from that area, and he told us the importance of why they changed the name and how they struggled to do that. We had stories about that in our paper. We've also had stories about the Tower Theater struggle and the issues of the Tower District and why it's important to have a culture of acceptance and love there rather than intolerance. We talk about police accountability, we talk about LGBTQ rights, immigrant rights, and we let those people that are in that struggle tell us about what they're doing and how we can help. So connect with the progressive movement that's building a better world in Fresno and beyond, and be connected through the Community Alliance newspaper. Thank you for the opportunity to present today, and I look forward to you all subscribing to the paper real soon.
In the spirit of giving, let us join our voices in our call to offering, which will appear on the screen. There it is. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Here's a slide showing how you can make a financial contribution right now on our virtual campus, or if you are on the Alluvial Avenue campus, you can always drop cash or a check in the basket on your way out the sanctuary, or even better, you can share generously right this moment by using Cash App. Just send your contribution to $UU Fresno, $UU Fresno. I'm looking to see who's doing that. The morning offering for Community Alliance will be gratefully received.
Again, I'm Lisa, this is Jamie, and I just want to say quickly, when I first started coming to this church, I would never come to the Christmas service, the Easter service, because there was just too much from prior times that would bring up, but I'm so glad that Reverend Tim has been able to help me see that there's parts of the traditions that I grew up with that I want to honor, and there's new traditions that I want to welcome. This is a beautiful community to be a part of.
Amen, Lisa. As we prepare to end our service and enter into our afternoons, please join Karen and Troy in our chalice extinguishing words.
El calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Here's a wave to everyone on our virtual campus, and for those watching later, Jamie and I send you the warmest of holiday greetings.
Tim, I believe you have some announcements before our closing words.
How did you know that, Jamie? So first of all, want to remind folks that to exit the sanctuary, we allow our socially distanced folks to leave first. I'll be outside if you want to say hello. And coffee hour is happening. We have some heaters out there to warm your body as well as your hearts. Also, the world famous past president of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, Bill Reganini, will be at our question and answer board member table, and he promises to have the answers to every question you may bring him. So thank you, Bill. Now, we already know that we're celebrating a birthday during coffee hour, David's birthday, so Jackie has cake for us all. But today is a double duty cake day. As I shared last week, Chloe, who is our coordinator of community life, as well as has worked with our kids for years and years. Chloe has been hired by the Unitarian Universalist Church of Rockland, Maryland, to be their new full-time communications coordinator. And we, the congregation, Chloe, who's back there, wanted to celebrate you. So there is another cake to celebrate you and all you've done for us. So, a few quick reminders. At 12:30 today, here in Alluvial Ave Sanctuary, but also on Zoom, is our annual When the Holidays Hurt service. It's a gentle service of healing and support for those of us who find this time of the year a tender time, perhaps a hard time, a painful time in the midst of all the light and color. That's 12:30, and the Zoom meeting is 955-1347-3281. This Saturday at 6:30 is our annual Candlelight Christmas Eve service. We hope you will join us either in person or on our virtual campus. And then Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. is our first ever Christmas morning pajama service. You are welcome, if you wish, to come in your jammies, in your bathrobes, or come in your sweats, whatever, just please wear something. It's going to be a shortened, family-friendly service, and we're going to end with hot chocolate and cocoa 10:30 Christmas morning. I'll be here. I hope that some of you will be as well. Last but not least, almost last but not least, our auction, online auction, Love is in the Air, will be taking place February 5th through 12th. Clear your calendar so you can bid often and bid high on a range of wonderful opportunities and begin thinking about what you could offer as a service to the congregation. Maybe you're going to offer to come and rake up somebody's leaves. Maybe you're going to make Soup of the Month Club. Maybe some awesome tamales. We ask you to become creative and look for more information to be announced shortly. This is last but not least. We have a tradition where we like to welcome folks who are with us for the first, second, or third time. We do it not to embarrass you, but on this holiday time, we're grateful that you chose to be with us this morning. So if this is your first, second, or third time, please rise for just a moment. We won't leave you standing alone for long. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them. If you came with a pod, feel free to join hands. If not, we can place our hands over our beautiful, beautiful beating hearts. We need a winter in our lives, a time of rest, a time to stand still, a time to reacquaint ourselves with the life in which we live and breathe. It is only then that we can draw strength from the source in which we are rooted. It takes time to grow through the darkness into the warm glow of springtime. May it be so. Blessed be. May the beautiful darkness and the renewing light be yours.
2, 3, 4.
May we have safe passage, safe passage. May we have safe passage. on your way. Wanderer, safe passage on your way. Searcher, safe passage on your way. Sweet pilgrim, safe passage on our way. May we have safe passage. Safe, safe passage. May we have safe passage. Safe passage on our way.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.